Political Partisanship in Texas Politics by Liliana Gutierrez. The polarization of political parties perpetuates the great divide between Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives, and left and right-wing voters. Political partisanship creates a polarization within a community. This polarization is a potential foundational reason for the disconnect and corruption of the Texan government. In this way, it is the most important issue for Texans today. The polarization of political parties forces people to choose between one party or the other. Through this mechanism, they are forced to choose a group that supports their most ardent beliefs, but perhaps opposes a majority of their other beliefs. It is possible that certain members of one party hold similar values of the opposing party, but are restricted to voting one way based on party lines. For example, in a study conducted by the Pew Research Center, Black Democratic voters agree more closely with Republicans in religious and morality matters than white Democratic voters. However, the distinction between Black Democrats and Republicans grows when considering equal rights matters. Here, 81% of Black Democrats believe that the country has not gone far enough in giving Blacks equal rights to whites. In contrast, only 15% of Republicans share the same opinion. By removing the restrictions that party lines create, Black Democrat voters may potentially vote for elected officials that more closely represent their seemingly different core values. Currently, Texas judges are elected through partisan elections. The justice system, which convicts or exculpates all participants of the civil and criminal law, is partial to large businesses. During elections, donors bankroll judges' campaigns, resulting in favoritism when those same businesses appear in court. Through studying the outcomes of and campaign contributions of a decade of court rulings, Salem Abraham showed that billion-dollar companies supported by one of the 9 elite law firms were 5.4 times more likely to win their case. This means that partisan elections favor wealthy businesses. Nonpartisan elections may help to remove this partiality. In both of these instances presented, a nonpartisan election of judges may help to mitigate the effects of the polarized political parties in Texas. By creating nonpartisan elections, judges may be discouraged from accepting large campaign donations from wealthy corporations and law firms. Their favoritism towards these businesses would be thus reduced, resulting in potentially more fair court rulings. Additionally, this decision would also decrease the likelihood that voters will choose candidates based purely on their political affiliation and are compelled to research which candidates best fit their needs. Some proponents of the partisan election of judges claim that a nonpartisan election would actually be less effective or representative of the true values of voters. They claim that these same people who vote based on political affiliation would be similarly influenced in nonpartisan elections to choose candidates based on their name alone. One might ask, are these not the same voters who have gone out of their way and taken time out of their day to vote? It might be assumed that these are the same people who might similarly be compelled to take the time to do preliminary research on who they would rather vote for. In the absence of such crutches, which are the party labels that segregate the candidates, these voters may find it in their best interest to research potential candidates so as to avoid choosing unfavorable judges. It can be seen in the cases outlined that polarized party affiliation negatively affects the justice system and voter participation in Texas, as well as perpetuates disconnect and corruption. It is thus in the best interest of the Texan government to focus time and effort to reduce the effects of political partisanship, with their first efforts focused on changing the mode of election of judges from partisan to nonpartisan.